What does the word parallel mean? If you can't answer that question, you should probably get off of Snapchat during math class. Now, parallel just means two lines that are going in the same direction that will never touch. They're on the same trajectory. They are the same, essentially. In English, we have something similar. It's called parallel structure, and that is when each item in a coordinate structure, list or comparison, has the same form. So again, parallel structure is when each item in a coordinate structure, which is either a list or a comparison, has the same form. Now, parallel structure is good. That is what we want when we're writing. Let's check out what it means. Now, as we go through this presentation, this short little video, sentences that are parallel are going to have that little box next to them with the two lines that are going in the same direction, the two parallel lines. Sentences that are not parallel are going to have that little box next to them with the two lines that will eventually intersect. Let's take a look at what we have here. Let's start at the top. Ellen likes hiking, attending rodeos, and taking afternoon naps. Sounds like a pretty good time. Let's look at the bottom one. Ellen likes hiking, the rodeo, and to take afternoon naps. Now these sentences are essentially the same, but the one on top is parallel and the one on bottom is not. Why might that be? Well, if we look at the one at the top, in our list, we have hiking, attending rodeos, and taking afternoon naps. You'll notice that all of those are in the same form. They're all verbs that end in ing. The bottom one is different though. We start with a verb that ends in ing, then we move on to a noun, the rodeo. That isn't an action, it's a thing. And then we move to take afternoon naps, which is again a verb, but it's a different type. See how we've mixed it up in the bottom one? What we're shooting for is sentences that look like the top. Let's look at a couple more. Now, let's step through this one more time because I want to emphasize exactly what I mean by the different forms. First, we have hiking, which is a verb in present progressive tense. Then we have the rodeo, which is a noun phrase. And then to take, which is a verb in present simple tense. So again, they are different forms. That is not what we want. Here's another example for you though. My friend took me to a dance and a show. And then my friend took me dancing into a show. Let's check these out. My friend took me dancing. That's a verb, present progressive tense. And then to a show. A show is a noun phrase. Again, they don't match. See what I'm getting at here? When we write our sentences, we need to make sure that they're parallel. Every item should match. So if you're making a list, if you're comparing two things, make sure that they're in the same form. If they're verbs, they better be in the same tense. If they're not verbs, they better both be nouns or they better both be adjectives. You have to keep them the same. Now, if you've been taking notes, that's great. If you haven't been, don't have a heart attack, you're fine. But what I would like you to do is just consider an example of parallel structure. You can write this down, you can think of it, you can ignore me, whatever you want here. But think of an example of parallel structure. So I like to run, bike, and hike. Boom, there's an example. Anything that you want to do. Then think of a non-example of parallel structure. If you can't think of those, or if you're a little bit confused about the difference, go ahead and watch this video again, or better yet, come talk to me. I always love to help.